Part 7 of exposing a Pisces energy trying to destiny swap with me entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. They've been intentionally, utmost maliciously doing all the things I'm exposing them for, while intentionally, utmost maliciously, egregiously misrepresenting me as doing it all to them. Like I said, the reading I'm addressing right now was split across two parts that had predetermined there was only two parts. This time, this addresses part 2. So this is how they've been continually egregiously exploiting my energy to execute on the plot they came up with in part 1. So this person could have a new person, and this person likes to act like you, okay? Like they dress like you, they talk like you, they just copy you, okay? So the criminal impersonation they were doing of me from the first part of this plot, where they were blatantly lying that I'm with someone else, was to prepare for this part where they intended to intentionally, almost maliciously, cause confusion around if I'm with someone else in order to misrepresent me as being with someone that likes to act like them, dress like them, talk like them, and generally copy them. And they desperately seek others' validation for if it all seems believable, while they in reality knew all along that it wasn't ever true at all. This person ain't shit, and I think that you found that out with clarity with when you were touching base with your drawings and stuff. So they realized that I'm something extremely special from even just the part 1, if not well before then, which I guess they're referring to as drawings. I feel like you're drawing, and it is a form of meditation. And I feel like within that form of meditation that you actually realized, like, what the fuck was I crying over them for? So there's such a fake, selfish, egregiously divination abusing scumbag that as soon as they see I have spiritual standing that they think they can destiny swap with, all they see is selfish gain. They instantly couldn't care less about actually being decent at all to me and trying to build a genuine connection with me where they get a fair share of that instead of trying to steal my soul from me. And that extreme sociopath or psychopath behavior is the closest thing to meditation that they're actually capable of experiencing. But they're crying over you, okay? They're sad, hurt, upset, because I feel like this person thought that you were always gonna be their romantic love affair, their little sex fix, their secret fucking lover. So they've probably cried over me. They've probably felt sad, hurt, and upset because I refused to accept being forever purported by them as some kind of weird, secret little sex fix, romantic love affair thing, or something like that for them. And in reality, I couldn't care less how much they cry or feel sad or hurt or upset or any other negative emotions about it. I never did, and I never will. And yet they've been desperately dependent on others' validation for if it seems like I'd be crying over them. And now they're a happiness hater because they see that you're doing better than them. So they've secretly despised my happiness anytime they even so much as thought I was doing better than them at all. While I never had any inherent issue with them being happy or if they were doing better than me, as long as it wasn't at my expense against my consent, and they knew it all along. You've healed more than them. You're happier than them. You have more money than them. So they always should have known I've healed more than them. They always should have known I'm happier than them. And they always should have known I have a greater abundance inside me than they ever will have internally or externally. Maybe they're realizing that maybe they were not the innocent one, okay? So they've intentionally, most maliciously, been desperately trying to cause confusion around if I even possibly might ever see myself as somehow guilty of something in the connection, despite me in reality not being guilty of anything except what basically just amounts to being a way better person than they'll ever be. And that's not something I'll ever be ashamed of. And yet they've been desperately dependent on others' validation for if believing otherwise seems reasonable. Now they're like a groupie. They're watching all your socials. They're like a little thirsty groupie. So they've always planned to try to pretend like they were secretly a fan of mine or somehow actually supportive of me all along, while in reality knowing they've actually always been and always will be the complete opposite. They've always been extremely creepy and weird about ever acknowledging that they actually see my social media presence in any capacity. And they either have egregiously, grossly inappropriate actual sexual feelings for me, or egregiously, grossly inappropriate, intentionally utmost malicious desire to pretend to have such feelings for me. And they have love on the brain. They're dreaming, fantasizing, daydreaming, and being nostalgic about you. Like, it's almost like they can't get you off their mind. So they're extremely creepy and excessive with this yapping or rambling or whatever exactly it is that they call all this going on and on about loving me and fantasizing and being nostalgic about me or similar things. In reality, I couldn't care less how they see it or feel about it. It's just extremely creepy, gross, and concerning to me. And if I knew any earlier that they were so egregiously misrepresenting me to anyone as if I'd be flattered or feel some kind of positive emotions about their supposed feelings towards me as such, I would have spoken up about it immediately. And that's their karma. It's haunting them. You're haunting them, okay? So they always wanted and planned to try to haunt me and basically terrorize my life because they were trying to give me karma I didn't deserve, teach me some kind of lesson they needed to learn, humble me where I didn't want, need, or deserve to be humbled. And they desperately seek others' validation to see if it seems their attempts to intentionally, utmost maliciously haunt and terrorize my life nonstop are working. I feel like they're trying to almost dig up dirt on you because, you're really just not doing anything wrong. So they've in reality known all along that I've never actually been doing anything wrong for them to try to haunt and terrorize me how they have. Yet they constantly have desperately been looking for anything to try to intentionally, almost maliciously warp to make me seem guilty of doing something wrong or being a bad person somehow, which is itself wrong to do. Like, you're just sitting. You really are maybe isolated, but in a healthy way. So, they've been trying to cause confusion around if I'm isolated in order to make it seem like I'm in stagnation. And they hide how unhealthy what they're doing really is by trying to make it seem like it's healthy for others to question if I'm isolated and possibly also stagnated at all. Like, you've just cut off all the negatives and stuff, and they're just now like digging and being thirsty and looking up stuff on you. So they try more aggressively to dig up dirt on me or make things up about me and falsify this egregiously disgusting romantic dynamic between us. The more I'd try to distance myself from them and anyone else toxic at all associated with them. And I don't think it's like a vice versa kind of thing. I feel like you've really just like moved on, but this person is now like almost trying to purposely find something wrong with what you're doing right now. Okay? So they've been trying really hard to make it seem like they've always been fine moving on from whatever connection we've had, as if I'm the one that starts trying to pick fights with them and gets upset at them or wants to start drama with them or something like that when they seem fine without me. Because they were desperate to hide that they were projecting massively. And they try to hide it with their desperate dependence on others' validation. For if their manipulation seems believable that I'm the one that actually has some kind of issue moving on from my connection with them. They're a grudge holder, okay? They're a grudge holder. But I feel like so are you for them putting you in a third party. So they're desperately dependent on others' validation on if it seems like I'm a grudge holder. They hold a grudge against me because they put me in some kind of third party situation. It makes no sense, but they're clearly extremely mentally ill and couldn't care less. And they're trying to hide it by intentionally, utmost maliciously misrepresenting me as if I hold a grudge against them for some third party situation they're trying to drag me into. You've done so much reflecting. Super proud of you. You felt with it. You sat with it. So they haven't actually done any reflecting, or at least certainly not for any actually good reason. They've been neglecting to actually feel their emotions and sit with them in a healthy manner. And they've been trying to hide it by misrepresenting me as if I'm lacking in those aspects. They're a spiritual hater. They really fucking hate that you're spiritual, okay? That you have a light, that you have a magic power, okay? So they're a spiritual hater towards me. They desperately seek others' validation for if it seems like I hate that they're spiritual. They misrepresent whatever spirituality they have that they've chosen to abuse to attack me with, as if it means they bring light to others' lives like I can. They desperately seek others' validation for if they at least seem like they actually have magical powers. It's intimidating to this person. They almost feel threatened by it because they know that you're gonna see right through them, okay? So they've been secretly intimidated by me all along. They've been desperately dependent on others' validation for if I seem like I somehow feel threatened by them, out of some kind of worry, they see right through me for some supposed plot they've been manipulating others into believing I'd ever make against them. They're hooked on you, though. They're hooked. But they need to sit with this bad karma for what they did to you, okay? So they've been trying to leave me obsessed with them all along, so they could justify their obsession with me. And they've been desperately dependent on others' validation for if I seem like I deserve to have to sit with the bad karma they've been trying to send towards me for what I supposedly have been doing to them. That they in reality knew all along I wasn't ever actually doing at all. You need to continue to keep ignoring them, okay? I feel like this person could have even married for money. That could have told you everything right there about this person. So they've been desperately dependent on others' validation for if it makes sense for them to continue ignoring me. They've been trying to cause confusion around if I'm the type to get married to someone for money, and they've been trying to cause confusion around if that actually would be an adequate justification for basically all of whatever they've ever been doing to me in the end, no matter what the truth about a lot of the other stuff they've done really is. While they in reality should have known, and probably did know rather clearly all along, that I very much am not the type to marry for money at all. And again, look, annoying. Annoying came out after I shuffled. Keep ignoring them. You're doing the right thing. So they'd desperately try to hide how annoying they definitely knew all along I'd truly find all their extremely shady plotting and stalking and love for me to be, no matter how many ways they tried to spin it. Yet they'd desperately seek others' validation for if it seems like I'm actually annoying them and they're doing the right thing to ignore me.